The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
When some were speaking about the temple, how it was adorned with beautiful stones and gifts dedicated to God, Jesus said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when not one stone will be left upon another. All will be thrown down." They asked him, "Teacher, when will this be, and what will be the sign that this is about to take place?" And he said, "Beware that you are not led astray, for many will come in my name and say, 'I am he,' and 'the time is near.' Do not go after them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified, for these things must take place first. But the end will not follow immediately." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and plagues. And there will be dreadful portents and great signs from heaven. But before all this occurs, they will arrest you and persecute you. They will hand you over to the synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors because of my name. This will give you an opportunity to testify. So make up your minds not to prepare your defense in advance. For I will give you words and a wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to withstand or contradict. You will be betrayed by even parents and siblings, by relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You will be hated by all because of my name. But not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your souls." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Pastor Megan asked me to lead worship and preach this Sunday while she's attending the youth gathering. I checked my schedule and agreed. And later when I read the text, I thought, ugh, I don't like this one. It's hard to preach on something I don't particularly like. And maybe that's actually the key to today's gospel message. Similar to the disciples, we don't like what Jesus has to say sometimes. I love the Gospel of Luke and his focus on social justice. And when I zoomed out from this particular passage to what's happening in Luke's narrative, it clicked for me. So let's zoom out together. Jesus has been sitting in, teaching, and preaching in the temple since the end of chapter 19, when he entered the temple, caused a scene, and said, "My house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." This disruption inspired the leaders to continue to look for a way to kill Jesus. And he remains within the temple through the rest of chapter 21 until chapter 22, when the Passover begins, starting his journey to the cross. We're in the midst of Jesus' speed round to get his point across before he's gone. And he's intense about it. Jesus' focus on the temple is one of redirection. Stones and destruction aren't unique to his warning today. Back in chapter 20, verse 17, he said, "The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces. The religious leaders' desire to kill Jesus fueled their questioning of him. They kept challenging Jesus, trying to trip him up on technicalities about taxes and marriage. Jesus continued to warn and redirect the people toward issues he saw as more important. Beware of the scribes who dress all fancy and look powerful. Look at this poor widow giving all she has to this oppressive system. But the disciples get uncomfortable and attempt a redirection of their own. They say, "Oh, but look how pretty and incredible and awesome this temple is. Let's take a break from all of these hard conversations and admire the centerpiece of our community and place that honors the one true God. Surely Jesus will agree with us on this topic." Jesus doesn't falter and says, "Well, guess what? It will be destroyed. So let's focus on something lasting." Jesus' message reminds me of the Buddhist teaching of impermanence and releasing attachment. The Buddhist teacher Ajahn Chah said, "You see this goblet? For me, this glass is already broken. I enjoy it. I drink out of it. It holds my water admirably, sometimes even reflecting the sun in beautiful patterns. If I should tap it, it has a lovely ring to it. But when I put this glass on a shelf and the wind knocks it over, or my elbow brushes it off the table and it falls to the ground and shatters, I say, of course. When I understand that this glass is already broken, every moment with it is precious. Every moment is just as it is, and nothing need be otherwise. The glass is already broken. The temple is already destroyed." But the disciples are alarmed and want to be prepared for this horrible destruction. They cling to the temple and the comfort and security it offers. So they ask, how will they know it's coming? What can they do? And Jesus doesn't answer them directly, as he never does, but he instructs them to beware. Do not be led astray. Do not be terrified. And leaves them with, by your endurance, you will gain your souls. The Jesus we see in Luke is not cozy or comforting. He's on a mission. He's provocative in the way he's trying to make us see the ugliness of the world and human nature. He's frustrating in the way he keeps pointing out the things we'd rather look away from, like the impermanence of the solid places where we rest our assurance, like these stone buildings, like the uncertainty of societal structures of power and wealth that we benefit from, like the particularities of taxes and marriage that distract us from the real focus of loving God and loving our neighbor, like the cruel and violent actions of powerful leaders masked by the fancy veneer of wealth and beauty, like the oppressive systems that benefit from the poverty of others. The disciples want to escape this doom and gloom, don't we? They attempt a distraction, admiring the awesomeness of this enormous and gorgeous temple that is dedicated to God. At least we have this common ground, right? But Jesus won't give them a break. He's on a mission. then and now, to challenge our view of the world and guide us towards seeing clearly. Whatever you see will be destroyed. The glass is already broken. I wonder about the metaphorical temples of beauty and distraction today. What are our temples of escape? What are the places in which we find reassurance that will eventually crumble? What are the temples to which we're attached and that are actually impermanent? I'm sure we could compile a long list. I think of the saying, "My body is my temple." How preoccupation with a body too large or too small distracts from loving that body as a gift from God. And adorning that body with clothes, jewelry, tattoos can be consuming of our precious time, energy, and resources. I think of the ways we resist acknowledging and embracing our aging bodies. I think of our places, our homes, and even this sanctuary, and the amount of energy we expend maintaining and improving our spaces. I think of the temples within our minds, the striving and achieving parts, the protective and defensive parts that prevent us from resting and loving our whole selves and render us unable to fully love and be loved by others. This is hard. We could go on, but that's not really Jesus' point, is it? It's not Jesus' point to identify our faults and distractions. No, we do that enough ourselves. The disciples did that themselves. Jesus' point is to redirect us toward God and what is everlasting. Jesus' point is to remind us of what we can really cling to. Jesus' message is, beware, do not be led astray, do not be terrified. Jesus calls us to focus on what's real and true. He says these messages today in the negative sense, but within these warnings, I also hear, I am the truth. The truth will set you free. Come, follow me. Set down your burdens, I will give you rest. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. These messages of Jesus' love and healing and safety are directly connected to the warnings we hear today. It's all the same message. All that you see, all that you count on, all that you take comfort in is destroyed. The glass is already broken. But what remains? When the literal and metaphorical temples crumble, when the glass is broken, what is left? Where is the good news? It comes only from remembering the truth that we worship a crucified God who loves and knows us completely and continues to remain with us in the midst of destruction and even death. God's love is permanent. God's redemption is permanent. We have a big task in supporting one another in remembering this. And in being witnesses to this truth, in the world. Restoration comes after destruction. This is a truth we so desperately need to cling to, remembering that new life will come after death, knowing that God is bigger than all of it. This promise isn't just enough, it's the main thing. God is always making us new. By our endurance, we will gain our souls. Amen.